is Brittany Bryden. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. So we're going to do a yoga sculpt class today. So we're going to do a little strength with some cardio, and then we're going to cool down with some stretching. So you're going to need some weights today. I have a light set. I just have some threes because that's what I have hanging around. But grab whatever you want. And if you don't have weights, you can use soup cans or something like that. That works as well. Or use nothing at all. It's still a great class either way. So we're going to start off standing at the top of the mat. Your feet are going to be a little bit wider than hip distance apart. And then just start to lift your heels up. And then lower your heels down. And then lift the heels up and then lower down. So you're going to do a few more and make sure you're really engaging through the inner thighs and the glutes. Hug the core in the center. Let's do a couple more heel raises. For 3, 2, 1. Now ground your feet, bend your knees, hinge from the hips. You're going to lower down. Actively press your knees open and then use your glutes to come back up to stand. So lower down into a squat and then power back up. So let's do a few more. Starting to build a little heat. So your inhale as you lower, exhale to come up. For 3, 2, and now we're going to connect those two movements together. So when you come to stand, lift your heels up, lower the feet down. Squat, come up, heel raise, and then lower down. Squat, come up. Squat, come up. A few more. For 3, 2, last one. Lower the heels down, come into that squat, and then fold forwards over top of the legs. So you're just going to walk the legs out. So bend one knee, straighten the other, and shift side to side. Bend into your right leg. Reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. Open the chest towards the left. And then set your left hand down. You're going to bend into your left leg now and reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. And then set your right hand down. You're going to step back, find downward dog. So as you ground to the hands, walk the legs out, so bending one knee straight and the other, shifting side to side. And then come forwards into a plank. So bring your shoulders right over top of the wrists and set your knees down to the floor so you're in a leaning table. Untuck the toes, so press the tops of the feet on the floor. Turn the eye of the elbow crease forward towards the front of the mat. So externally rotate from the shoulders. Bend the elbows, you're going to lower all the way down onto the ground. So keeping that engagement through your core, your glutes, and inner thighs, just take your hands off to a hover and bring your elbows in towards center. You're going to set the hands back down and press yourself up to that table. Good, so you're going to do that again. Externally rotate from the shoulder, lower down with control. Take your hands off the floor, so hover the hands, hug the elbows in, and then lower back down. Press yourself back up to that leaning table. So we'll do one more like that. You're going to lower down to the floor, stay broad through the chest. Hover the hands, elbows come into center. Set the hands down. Press yourself up in a table. And then shift your hips back for a child's pose. You're going to walk your hands over to the right side. Just place your left hand on top of the right hand and shift your hips over to the left. Take a few breaths there. And then walk your hands over to the left side. Place your right hand on top of the left hand and shift your hips over to the right. And then bring your hands back to center. Come forwards in a table and then downward dog. Tuck your toes under, hips up and back. So think of a nice long spine here in your down dog. You're going to lift your heels up nice and high, bend your knees, look forwards and just step forwards to the top of the mat. So your feet are about hip distance apart or wider. You're going to bend the knees, lower the hips down, bring your hands together in prayer. Come up to stand, lift up on the heels, swing the arms back, lower back into the squat, set your hands down and step back into plank. So with your knees up or down, you're going to lower all the way down to the floor. Untuck the toes, tops of feet press on the mat. Hover your hands and bring your elbows in towards center. Set the hands down, tuck your toes under. Press yourself up to table or plank, and then come into downward dog. So we're going to do a few more rounds like that, and I'm going to give you a few more options. And it's starting to pick up the heart rate a bit, warm ourselves up. So you're going to look forwards, bend the knees. So either step or maybe hop yourself to the top of the mat. Come into your squat, lower the hips down. Come up to the heel raise, or you're gonna jump, lower back into the squat, hands down, step back into plank. Lower yourself all the way to the floor. Hover your hands, bring the elbows into center, and then lower back down. Tuck the toes under, press yourself up, table or plank. Downward dog, take a few breaths here. And then looking forwards, bend the knees, hop or step, top of the mat, come into your squat. Heel raise or jump, lower to the squat. Hands down, step back into plank. Lower yourself to the floor. Option for baby cobra this time. And then lower down, tuck your toes under, table or plank. Downward dog. Are we starting to get warm? I know I am. We're gonna do one more round. So look forwards, bend the knees, make your way to the top of the mat, squat. Power up, lower down. Hands to the floor, step or hop back. Lower to the ground, baby cobra, and then lower, tuck your toes under, press yourself up, and then downward dog. Whew. Looking forwards, bend your knees, hop or step to the top of the mat. This time take a halfway lift, and then fold into your legs. Come to stand, reach both arms up, and then hands come together, heart prayer. All right, so now we're gonna reach down for our weights. Okay, so your left leg is gonna be, or no, sorry, let's do our right leg forwards. Right leg forwards, you're gonna step your left leg back so you're coming into a lunge. Now from here in this lunge, right knee tracking over top of the heel, send the tailbone down, draw your ribs in. So the rib cage is stacking right over top of the pelvis, bending that back knee a bit. So broaden through the chest. And then you're gonna lower that left knee down to the floor, and then just bring yourself back up. So again, lower down, tap, bring yourself back up. So you do a couple more. You can choose to go a little bit quicker than I'm going, or you can go slower. For 3, 2, and 1. Now you're gonna straighten your back leg, lean your chest forward slightly, and I want you to feel like you're pulling your feet in towards one another, so you're firing up that right hamstring. Now bring your elbows beside your rib cage, and then I want you to kick the weights back. So fire up the triceps, and then bring the weights in towards you. And then kick them back, and then pull them in. So you're gonna keep going. Keep that long spine, hug the core into the midline. Keep dragging that front foot back, fire up that hamstring, and then breathe. For 3, 2. Next time you straighten the arms, pause there. So hold the weights there. Lean forwards with the chest a little bit more, but keep the hands lifted. And you're gonna come up to a high lunge, so take both weights up towards the ceiling. And you're gonna open up for a warrior 2. So ground your back heel, palm of the hands up towards the ceiling, bend into the front leg. So actively press that front knee open. Now you're gonna straighten the leg and reach both arms up, so you're bringing the weights together. And then come back in a warrior 2, arms up to the side. Straighten the leg, both arms reach up. And then back to warrior 2. Straighten the leg, reach up. Warrior 2. One more time, reach up. And then warrior 2. Now take your right forearm just on top of the right thigh. And you're gonna reach your left weight down. So your feet are still the same. So try not to turn the ball of that back foot. You're just reaching that left foot down like it's coming to the inside of the right foot, but not that low, right? So from here, you're gonna do a pull. So you're gonna pull that left elbow up towards the ceiling until you reach that weight up, and then pull it back down. And then pull it up, and then reach back down. So do a couple more. For 3, for 2, and then 1. You're gonna bring yourself up into warrior 2, and then bring both heels in, turn your feet out, bend the knees, and lower the hips down. So palm of the hands are still up. So from here, you're gonna straighten the legs, bring both arms forwards, and then come back in that goddess squat, bend the knees, press the knees open, arms up to the side. Come up to stand, pull the weights in, and then take them back to the side. And straighten. And then lower, straighten, and then lower. Keep going. Whew. How we doing? How we doing? For 3, 2, last one. Lower down, pause, hold here, press knees open, get a little bit lower, and then wide-legged forward fold. So feet parallel, just set the weights down to the ground, fold into the legs. Take a few breaths here. All right, grab your weights. Now you're gonna walk your hands towards the left foot, so you're now facing the back of the mat. Turn the ball of your back foot and come into your high lunge with your back knee bent. So weights are just held down, bend your back knee, rib cage over top of the pelvis. Lower down, tap your right knee to the floor, and then come back up. Lower down, come back up. Keep going. For 3, 2, one more. Straighten your back leg, lean your chest forwards. So find that activation through your front leg. So feel like you're dragging that front heel to your back foot, fire up the hamstring. Now straighten your arms back. Feel like you're squeezing your elbows into center, and then bring the weights in towards you. Kick them back, pull them in. So keep powering that right leg and keep going. Last 3, 2. Hold the arms straight back, lean the chest forwards a little bit more. Hold, hold, hold. And then you're gonna come up into a warrior 2. So ground your back heel down, arms out to the side, palm of the hands up. So bend in the front leg, make sure that front knee's not collapsing in. And then as you straighten the leg, reach both arms up, and then take the arms back up to the side, warrior 2. Straighten the leg, reach up, and then warrior 2. A few more, reach up, warrior 2. Last one, reach up, and then warrior 2. So keep that strong base through the legs. You're just taking your left forearm to rest on that left thigh. You're reaching that right weight down towards the floor, and then start to do that pull. Elbow out towards the ceiling, reach that weight up, and then bring it back down. Pull it up, and then reach back down. Good, keep going. Like you're starting an old school lawnmower. Remember those? You might even still have one. 3, 2. Last one. Bring yourself up in a warrior 2. And then we're turning the side again. Heels in, feet turn out, arms out to the side. And then you're gonna come to stand, reach both arms up, bring the hands together. And then legs up. Bend the knees, press the knees open, arms up to the side. Again, straighten the legs, reach both arms up, and then arms up to the side. Straighten the legs, reach up, to the side. One more, reach up, and then to the side. Now stay low, bring your arms together, arms to the side. Keep the hips low, together, arms to the side. Keep going. Use those muscles on the outer line of the glutes, the abductors, to keep pressing those knees open. Try not to roll in the arches of the feet. We're almost done here, I promise. 3, 2, and then one more. Stay here, hold. And then straighten the legs, feet parallel, set the weights down. Wide-legged forward fold. All right, so take the weights with you. You're gonna pivot to face the front of the mat, and then just come down onto your butts. All right, so you're gonna set both feet down on the mat about hip distance apart. Bring your weights together, and then just start to lean back with the chest a little bit. So feel like you're lifting the sternum up towards the ceiling. Wrap the core in towards center. Keep the weights together, and find a twist. You're gonna twist over to the right, and then come back to center. Twist over to the left, center, right, center, left, center. Now keep going. Maybe you start to lean back a little bit more. 3, 2. Last one. Now come down onto your backs, keep the weights together and take your legs up towards the ceiling. So the heels are tracking right over top of the heels. Reach your weights up, anchor your pelvis into the floor, and then lift your head, lift your chest up. So try to get both shoulder blades off the floor like you're touching the weight to the toes, and then lower back down. And then curl yourself up, and then lower back down. Keep going. Engage with those inner thighs. And try not to rush it, to even take a pause when you lift. 3, 2. Next time you lift up, pause, lift up a little bit more, and then let it go. Drop the weights, hug your knees in towards your chest. Well done, rock side to side. You're gonna bring the feet together on the ground, let your knees fall open. Just reach your arms up and over the head. So you're gonna bend the elbows, reach for either elbow. Relax the arms into the floor, close the eyes. And take some deep, full breaths. Bring your knees in the center, figure 4, right foot on top of the left thigh. Bring your left leg in towards your chest, interlace your hands behind the left hamstring or the shin. Trying to keep that low back onto the floor. Good opportunity to close the eyes. And then we're going to switch. So left foot on top of the right thigh, bring your right leg in, hands behind the right hamstring or shin. And set both feet down on the mat, arms out into a T shape, let your knees rock side to side. And then bring your knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around the shins, give yourself a big hug. And then let it go. So take the legs long, bring the arms down onto the ground, close the eyes. And before you leave your mat, I highly encourage you to take a few minutes here in stillness. Find some grounding before you leave your mat and you go into the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. Always be humble and be kind. Thank you. Namaste.